We're ready for the 149-pound Big Ten championship match, and we have the top two seeds, Brent Metcalf versus Bubba Jenkins, and let's hear
Brent,
from him.
Awesome season. You're the epitome of wrestling should be like, going out there intense, getting after it. You train like that. Tell us about your thoughts and your preparations for the competition.
I guess just going out there and getting ready for every single match like it's a national championship match. You know, being ready to go, fired up mentally, physically, you know, heat-wise, and just getting ready to wrestle hard. You know, just got to prepare every single time for every match you go out and approach it with the same mentality of, you know, really just getting after your opponent, scoring points, and, you know, just working hard. And, you know, I try to do it every time out and do the best I can.
Bubba, performing in front of the home crowd in the Big Ten finals. Tell us about the feeling of wrestling for Penn State in front of all these fans.
Man, it's exciting, man, just because, you know, every takedown that I get, you know, the crowd's going crazy, regardless if it's 15-1 or if it's 2-1. I mean, the crowd's that third coach in the corner, you know, even though, you know, some of them don't know the moves, but they're just going to root me on, and I'm going to be right there with them. They say pick it up, I'm going to pick it up. They want me to shoot. Coach gives a second okay, then I'm on it, you know. So sometimes I don't obey them because I'm a little too tired, but I mean, I hear them, you know. They're a good crowd out there, man, and they were just real excited to be here, and I'm excited for them to be here, especially being home at State College.
Number 1 versus number 2 at 149 pounds. Brent Metcalf, you're looking at him. The first wrestler in the finals for the Iowa Hawkeyes up against Bubba Jenkins, Penn State's first entry of 2. Brent Metcalf, last year's Hodge Trophy winner as the best wrestler in the nation. There's Bubba Jenkins, and they had quite a match in the NCAAs last year.
Yeah, they did, and Jenkins was able to take Metcalf down twice in that match, and Metcalf was obviously to win big. But I heard Bubba Jenkins kind of appealing to the crowd here, help me get going here a little bit, and if I look back at the coach, I'm going to also, he says it's time to go, I'm going to go. So that's, let's see how he responds to that. The Penn State crowd has been awesome in supporting their team here in this venue here, Bryce Jordan Center. But this is a guy, Brent Metcalf here, who tests your heart more than anybody in the country. He tests his opponent's heart more than anybody in the country. You might be able to take him down a couple of times in a match, but you gotta wrestle the whole 7.
The history between these two, it was all last year. 3 times they met. 3 times Metcalf came out on top. By fall, by a 15-3 major, and by a 14-8 decision in the NCAA finals on NCAA championships where he was behind 4-1 at one time. But
here's a replay of the action at the edge of the mat. You see the duck under attempt, and Metcalf will have none of that here. He doesn't reach up high on anybody. It's very difficult to go ahead and duck him, and you see why, because he keeps his hands so low. He's stalking his opponent, and then when he comes to that collar tie, he's really heavy. He really makes you work your upper back or lower back muscles, the upper part of your shoulders and neck.
4th weight class in a row that we had a defending champion.
You see that? Go ahead. He just puts that pressure. Of course, Jenkins was able to relieve that pressure by grabbing a wrist. Right? Jenkins wants to turn this into an in-and-out match. Okay, change levels a couple times. Going to stay with that same stance. But Tim, I also see a little bit. Jenkins hurt his ankle here in the middle part of the season as one of those high ankle sprains, and we saw it in the Big Ten Network, one of the matches that you and Ken did, and. You know, it's also one of those injuries that takes a long time to recover and get your conditioning up. And here's the scoring opportunity for Metcalf. And he's able to roll through and get it.
2 points for Metcalf to go out in front 2-0. This is a rematch of last year's NCAA championship final. You're looking at the champion at 149, both the Big Tens and the NCAA's, Brent Metcalf.
Here's the job that Metcalf's doing. Of course, he sees Jenkins holding his weight forward, so he goes to the forward trip and rolls through with him. Ends up on top. I think Jenkins was trying to go ahead and roll through and perhaps get off the mat. And
Bubba Jenkins right there, the national runner-up at 149 to this opponent, Brent Metcalf. Jenkins from Virginia Beach, Virginia. He's a junior here at Penn State. All-American last year from First Colonial High School. Brent Metcalf from Davison, Michigan, that powerhouse high school program when he was in high school. 4 or 5 Division I wrestlers in strong programs wrestling right now from that high school. Started at Virginia Tech with Brands and followed Tom Brands to Iowa. And all he did in his first year of competition for the Hawks was win the championship and the trophy, the Hodge Trophy, as the top wrestler in the nation at any weight class.
Well, you take a look at that left hand of Metcalf. The reason why he's as good as he is and the way he tests his opponent's heart, look how much work that Jenkins is doing just to keep his position up. And the lower back muscles and everything, upper neck, you know, he's always carrying Metcalf's weight. Good look at Troy Sunderland, and coach of the host school.
Great facility. There's Tom Brands in his 3rd season at Iowa.
I was talking to Tom Brands here before. He mentioned that Metcalf had a little slump in the middle of the season.
A slump? What was it?
Well, he wasn't getting enough takedowns, enough back points when he was doing it. That's a slump for Metcalf.
Metcalf, right, who has not lost since early 2007 on the 2007-2008 season. Nice. In for the takedown. The first 2 takedowns this time go to Metcalf.
And he does a nice job. He's got that Turk set up. And look at the job he does at elevating that Turk. He's got the leg lock. Of course, he's coming high. He's got the shoulder grabbed up underneath there. Now when he straightens his elbow up even a little bit, and he arches his back, and he really elevates that knee. See Jenkins' knee, his left knee is way up there, right? When you elevate that knee right there in that Turk, take a look at it. He passes the shoulder, passes the elbow, into a high crotch, switch to a double, takes him down, scoops the bottom leg, and now tries to attack on turning the hips. Once those hips are turned, the shoulder will follow. Great job. He does this as well as anybody.
He gets the back points. He's up 6-1. We're talking about Brent Metcalf for the Hawkeyes. You're looking at him right there, and he's trying for his 65th straight win as a Hawkeye, with only 1 loss coming early in his sophomore campaign.
And you know what you don't see from in a Brent Metcalf match? You don't see guys diving back on his ankles, all right, like you see in the championship matches here, or even the matches in the consolation.
Why is that?
It's because he's so explosive, and he takes the guy down. He's looking right for back points, and his shoelaces are usually up when he finishes that technique, so he's not flat, and it's not an easy target to grab. So he's basically looking to finish all the way through and looking for back points. Probably get another example of it here too. Again, really heavy with the hands. Look at those hands, are heavy. Look at all that weight that Jenkins is carrying. And it's difficult for Jenkins to stay in this match here like this. And
second period started with Jenkins on top and Metcalf getting that escape. He's out in front 7-1 and really putting the pressure on Bubba Jenkins.
It really is, and it's like going out there and wrestling with a 50-pound sack of feed on your back. You know, if you're in your Jenkins' situation, Metcalf is putting so much pressure on him.
And Jenkins walking a bit slowly back to the center, and the motor is running for Brent Metcalf. The first of 4 Hawkeyes in the finals here in the championships.
Single leg attempt, driving through. Again, the shoelaces were up, drove all the way through.
And the clinic is on.
Yes, it is.
9-1 in favor of Metcalf. Not a lot of riding so far. Eventually he'll build it up with that many takedowns, but he's been on his feet and putting on a clinic as far as takedowns. But right now he's got Bubba Jenkins flat.
Well, according to his coach, he's out of the slump. He got back points too. So nice job of working. Again, Jenkins, a very talented athlete. But that high ankle sprain probably in the middle of the year is really not a great situation to train through, and you're going to eventually have to beat a guy like Metcalf to win the national championship.
Well, what we're talking about, a rematch of last year's NCAAs, the number 1 and 2 seeds, and by everybody's poll, Jenkins is the number 2, and there's the fall.
Yeah, wow.
And you notice there's no celebration by Metcalf. He says that would make people think that I hadn't been there before.
Well, he's been there. He's going there again too, the way he's wrestling. So nice job. 2-time champion. And here you see the replay here. Just a basic single leg, driving through, explodes right through. Jenkins kind of collapsed a little bit there on him. Just that point forward, it was grab the arm bars, come up on top. All right, shoulders go down, pretty uncontested as far as that goes, gets the fall.
Brent Metcalf, the winner. He took the Penn State crowd out of it early on his way to the big fall and his second championship. We'll be back for the 157-pound championship soon.